Hello and welcome. Today I thought I would share all the books I've read during the month of August. I read quite a lot. First off, I read The Membranes by Ta Wei. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is a piece of Taiwanese literature and it was actually my first Taiwanese book I read. It was for a book club called the Tour Bookclub, and it's hosted by Emile from the channel Emile Reads. Love her, by the way. This is a kind of dystopian sci-fi novel set in, I think, the late 21st century, and humanity has moved into the deep sea because no one can live on Earth anymore, and it's about Momo and this dermal care technician and her mother, and it kind of explores their relationship, what her mother means to her. Also, it's about deep trauma, in my opinion. Like, it perfectly depicted deep hidden, forgotten trauma, because that's how trauma works. You forget about certain events. Also exploring themes of gender and queerness, so there is that. I give it like 3.5 stars on Goodreads because I kind of read this book in 2 sittings, but it was a bit heavy. I didn't feel good after finishing that. But I really admire this book because, first of all, it was written in the 90s and I feel like it's so visionary. It was The Membranes. Then I read The Froth on the Daydream by Boris Vian. It's a French author, so I'm gonna pronounce it like that. This was not very long. It was about a group of, I guess I want to say, children. It's a depiction of them growing up. The book is written in like this silly, kind of goofy tone, but it's actually not that. Like, it's actually kind of profound, and it just follows them as they become adults and what they choose to prioritize during those years and what they leave behind in childhood. I gave this 3 stars. Not really the kind of book I gravitate towards. I'm gonna say I'm glad I read this because it's kind of a classic in French literature. Then I read The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Oh my god, this book has to be one of my all-time favorites. It is thick. It's like 1200 pages. It's like so easy to read, so the page number didn't faze me, and I'm not the kind to read really long books, so you should read that one. It is about this young sailor, Edmond Dantes. He's this really kind, polite, good-looking, every good attribute guy. He's really naive too. He's only 19, I think, when the book starts, and we follow his story as he gets wrongly accused of a crime. This book is all about revenge and how far is too far. Oh, I just really love this because when you read a book in such a long period of time, you kind of live with it, and I don't know, I just had this really good memory of reading it and absolutely loving my life whilst doing so. But yeah, honestly, this is a 5-star. Then I read Thérèse Raquin by Emile Zola. Yeah, another French novel. This tells the story of Thérèse and her husband and her aunt, I believe. They own this shop in Paris in a dark and humid street. This book felt like mud and something that's bound to rot, if that makes sense. If you know what I mean, if you read that one. And we follow the story of Thérèse as she embarks on a secret affair with Laurent. This book is about shame, the mundane, guilt too. I would highly recommend this if you liked The Perfume by Patrick Süskind. Yeah, it's kind of the same vibe. Then I have read The Institute by Stephen King. This was my first Stephen King. This was very Stranger Things coded. It's about this institute where special children go forcibly, and it's all about how they are used by the government. I gave this 3 stars. I guess I should have started with another Stephen King book, but yeah, this was not really my cup of tea, but it was okay. And then finally I have read Moon Palace by Paul Auster. I read this in preparation for my English degree. Yeah, this was for my American literature course. So we follow the story of a young student called Marco Fogg, and it's about him kind of losing things that make life stable. So his house, certain people in his life. Yeah, so he kind of goes on this metaphorical and real search of identity and belonging, I don't know. Yeah, there is no specific plot, but you kind of stay for how the story is told. It's very reminiscent of The Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, you really get a sense of his internal dialogue. I would recommend this if you liked The Catcher in the Rye, as it's kind of, yeah, they're both set in New York. You just get a sense of what goes on in these young men's lives. Let me know what you've read, what were your favorite books, if you have any recommendations, anything. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.